somewhere. Breathe in some love. Let yourself unfold. Breathe in some love.
Hello. Welcome back. I'm back. I'm back with a remix. So I was really doing the YouTube thing. I was doing it live weekly. I was motivated last year. I was really trying to be in my entrepreneurial bag, trying to build the brand, expand the brand. And um, life caught up with me. And I tried to push through, and it just all got away from me. And then I tried to come back earlier this year and try to do audio only because I wanted to be consistent. And I didn't even do that. In the meantime, I had gotten blessed with free access to a masterclass um, from a YouTuber who works with other women, especially Black women, to help them figure out how to get monetized on YouTube. Um, and this is embarrassing. I am blanking on her name, but I'm gonna put it in the show notes. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. Um, and when I took the master class, first of all, I had to sit through it 3 times because the attention span, okay, um, was not allowing me. Plus, what I'm about to say. One of the things that she suggested is that, or not really suggested, what she says you need to do is to record every day for 100 days. And the mental roadblock that set up for me really was overwhelming. So first I said I'm going to try to do multiple times a week. Didn't even keep up with that. So then a contemporary of mine, Dr. Donna Oriowo, she was also gifted the masterclass and took up the challenge and did it. And she announced today that she's now a YouTube partner. And that was my sign and motivation to get out of my own way. So here's the thing. What I will do is perseverate over what I should be recording about, perseverating on whether it's an alignment with my brand. Then you add the ADHD of it all. Then, like, am I actually motivated to talk about that? We could also talk about, I can add in my human design of being a manifesting generator and like my energy ebbs and flows. I can get to all the woo woo of it along with life happening. And it becomes very easy for me to abandon myself. It becomes very easy for me to not have any sort of commitment when there's other factors involved. And that is an area that at the big age of 51 that I'm really, really working on disrupting in a way that feels in alignment with me, right? So what I want to say is, like, I'm trying to move out of this space of recognizing I have some real limitations to my ability to be consistent and to have discipline, but not to use that as an excuse. Um, I get it. I get in my head about whether I have something actually to offer, whether I have a tool or tip to give you around something, whether whether it's relevant, what I'm looking like. I don't feel like I'm putting on a whole face. I don't feel like looking cute. All of those things. I'm going to be recorded, and anyone at any time in the world can see this video. I need to look my best. Like, all of this stuff runs through my head as reasons why to not do this. And today, with seeing Dr. Donna like announce her being a YouTube partner, made me think about what are the reasons I should do it anyway. And so here's where we are. So let me just level set. This may not be the clean, polished, um, like a linear Dr. Nikki that maybe you have seen in other spaces or are used to. Prepare for this to be chaotic. That's just what this is going to be. But I want to see for myself what happens if I commit to doing something, even when it feels difficult, even when it feels very uncomfortable, to see what's on the other side. Because that the mindset Glow, Glow, uh, Glow. I know she's on Threads as Glow Graphic. Glow Anamo. I'm probably butchering the last name, but in the recommendation was like part of the reason why you do it for 100 days is um, so that you get past all the mental bullshit, right? And the mental bullshit was so loud, it didn't even allow me to actually start. So I am really curious to see, for me, what happens on the other side of the discomfort. What happens if I show up for myself in this way, even if nobody else is watching, even if it's chaotic, even if it feels scary, um, to learn what happens in that in between. So that's what I'm here to talk about. The other thing that I wanted to level set about is um, what I'm really working on is getting outside of the box that I've put myself in. So I am Dr. Nikki. I am a licensed psychologist. I'm a sexologist. And those are all things that are important. They're a part of the brand. I like to talk about pleasure and intimacy and sexuality and sexual wellness and Black women authenticity. There's a whole lot of things I like to talk about. And what I have done is allowed the algorithm, in part, to silo me and to make me feel like I needed to be on brand, have a specific niche, and only talk about those things in order to have a brand, to have it be stand out, to have customers and clients convert. And I think that I've overthought that for sure. The other piece is ego. This ego of me being a licensed psychologist and then allowing that idea and identity to limit me um, by ethics, um, and professional liability, of which I still want to adhere to. But I think what I'm trying to articulate is I've gotten too rigid about what I allow myself to say, how I allow myself to show up authentically online because of those things. And so one of the things that I know that I will have to do to get out of my own way to be able to do this 100-day sprint is to bust out the silos, bust out the limitations. The the reality is all of those things are important to me. Black women's mental health, um, high achieving Black women in specific, intimacy, sexual wellness, sexuality, pleasure, joy, self advocacy, self compassion. All of those things are important to me. And those are all things that I have had to work really intentionally and effortfully towards maintaining and holding on to in the past couple of years of my life. And I have allowed my own lack of clarity, um, and feeling like because I wasn't finished with that part of my experience prevent me from talking about those things, right? Really letting the perfectionism run rampant. And so part of the messiness of this next launch is to allow myself to not get so caught up in the perfectionism of it all. And I hope that in my showing up in this way, that it still resonates. One of the things that I always say is like, I just love to run my mouth. And when I talk and like talk out loud about the way that I think about things and perceive things and um, my aspirations and dreams for the world and for Black women and for liberation, is when I'm most alive and feel most joyful. And I always say, I just want to get paid to run my mouth. I just want to get paid to be me. So then that's what I'm gonna do with this space. Okay. So you might come, and some days I'm talking about sex. Some days I'm talking about pleasure. Some days I'm talking about authenticity. Some days I'm talking about perimenopause. Some days I'm talking about grief. Some days I'm talking about healing. Some days I'm talking about spirituality. I don't know what you're going to get, but this is me getting out of my own way and allowing the fullness of my own humanity to come through in this way, in this platform. Now, Even in saying this, my mind went to like, oh my God, there's going to be some time in the future where you'll look back at this and somebody else is going to see it and you'll be like, oh my God, that's so cringy like that. Why would you even say that? Like the little gremlins of self critique in my head are going right now, even as I say this. And this is what I mean about knowing I've done enough healing, intentional healing, over the last 6 years that I know that this is the process of moving through to the other side of something. Um, Let me break that down a little bit more. So, the little gremlin, the little critique, the little um, perfectionistic voice in my head that's like, oh my God, you're going to look back like all of that. The fact that that's even coming up for me is awareness that this feels threatening to me, that I am stepping outside of my comfort zone, that this is brand new territory, that I have allowed professionalism and respectability and all of the years that I spent in academia and all the ideas about how to have credibility and what being credible means, like all of that ego stuff, to really limit me in this space. And now that I am intentionally looking at that and engaging it and doing work to push past it, it's like it's rearing its little head. The other great thing about the healing work that I've done is that it's not very loud. It's not taking me outside of my body. I'm not feeling even a lot of physiological activation. And that to me is a reinforcement that I'm moving in the right direction and a reinforcement about why doing it this way, the messy way, without an agenda, um, is what I should be doing. That's what I should be doing. Um, Let me name a couple of the other things that I do believe have gotten in my way as well. So I talk about the last couple of years. So I I loved. I was about to sound really crazy. The time that we were all working from home because of the pandemic was really revolutionary for me, and I had peace um, in a way that I hadn't had before, to be in my life and to be in my home and to have things calm down. I had a job that I enjoyed at the time. I was building my private practice at the time. I was really actually grateful to be able to spend that time with my daughter at that time in her development, that time of our life. Now, the fact that people, millions and tens of millions of people around the world um, died. Um, I don't know if tens of millions of people died. I'm rethinking that. I know we had over 1 million people in this country die, but I also think we were one of the worst countries. So I'm not sure how many people died during the pandemic. I know a lot of lives were lost unnecessarily as well. I know that there were disproportionate groups who were impacted negatively and lost lives. I know people that died as a result of COVID. So I did not enjoy that. I don't relish that. I'm not celebrating that. What I am saying is that was a pivotal moment for me to have time out from the hustle and the sort of like automation that I was on, to really get reconnected with myself. And it was in that time that I found my current therapist and really have been doing a lot of deep healing therapeutic work with her over the last 5 years. Um, and that has been a game changer for me. And that work has looked like a lot of talk therapy, but also a lot of somatic processing, a lot of brain based processing using brain spotting, using clinical hypnosis. Um, and then also attending to my own nervous system with other tools, using EFT, using shaking, using meditation, journaling, really intentionally re scripting my own mindset. and moving to a place where I could experience my emotions without being dysregulated by my emotions. It was a concept I didn't even know existed. And I've been a therapist this whole time myself, right? I understood it intellectually, but I'd never embodied that in myself. And so I did a lot of really, really deep work around reclaiming myself, around building my own sense of self confidence, around learning what self compassion is, building my own ability to be self compassionate, practicing self compassion, like reducing my perfectionism significantly, rebuilding my relationship with my mother, um, working through my fawning trauma response, my AKA my people pleasing, just a lot of really amazing work. And then in 2024, my mom passed away unexpectedly. And that upended my entire world. Um, I can get really emotional if I stop and sit in it for too long because the grief still feels really, really present. And I've heard from and talked to other people who had loving, joyful, um, solid, and just good relationships with their moms, and their moms have been gone for 10 years and 15 years and 20 years. And the grief is still there. So I know that this will be part of my experience for the rest of my life. And I'm really, really good with that, honestly, because of the way that I think about it is that um, my experience of my grief should reflect the magnitude of my love and gratitude for my mother. But so that happened for me in 2024, the top of the year. I also turned 50 in 2024. And perimenopause really, the impacts of perimenopause really started to escalate for me also. Um, Trying to be a solo entrepreneur, and also I'm a full time single parent, um, along with grieving as an only child, um, has just been challenging in ways that I can articulate more here and probably will talk about more in depth as I work through these 100 days. But because of my achievement orientation, because of my perfectionism, because so much of the way that I've oriented myself to the world is around productivity and um, like career and professional achievement, I I persisted in working in building my business. I persisted in trying to expand my business. I thought I was doing it in a way that was in alignment with where I was with my own mental wellness and ability. But the further I get away from it, the more I realize I was just making shit up and grasping at straws. Y'all, so many different programs I tried to launch in the past 3 years. Um, I tried to launch a Voxer coaching group. Hell, if you go back and watch some of the other videos, you could probably hear about things that I was launching. Just earlier this year, I tried to launch a in-person in-person workshop here in Houston. I've done group therapy. I've done online virtual workshops. I have my pleasure pursuit journal. Um, I've started the YouTube channel and restarted the YouTube channel. Um, I tried to go into coaching, um, pitching myself as a public speaker. Like I have tried a million different things, and um, none of them have worked. Not one thing has landed. Um, I think of people, hell, for myself, shoot. When I think about my talent, when I think about my expertise, when I think about my capacity and my capability, you would think that I would be booked and busy. You would think that I was like having all types of client conversions, and I don't. I'll be fully, fully honest. This business has been a struggle for me. And so that has also been part of what I've been managing, is the hit to my ego. I've never not been successful. And this entrepreneurial endeavor has really, really tested my sense of success. I've never failed as much in life as I have failed in this business. Like never. And it's been a hit to the ego. It's been really, really devastating to my self worth at times, especially in the social media um, landscape when I see other people that I feel are peers or contemporaries and they seem to be showing up consistently. They seem to be having the type of entrepreneurial experiences and successes that I think that I'm also worthy of, having to deal with internal sense of like jealousy and envy, and knowing like that's a reflection of my own sense of self sabotage and self betrayal, like all the stuff I have been working through while trying to still present myself online as this brand and to try to only talk about pleasure and authenticity and like really be limited. And the fact of the matter is, it's been more of a hindrance to me to try to keep myself boxed in than it has been, than I think it will be for me to just be messy with it and see what comes out on the other side. And I know that in this very limited attention span world that we live in, that I'm probably going to lose some of y'all. Like some of y'all are not going to want to rock with this at all. Um, I can't get caught up in that because I want to, one, I'm doing this for myself. And two, I want to see what happens if I show up in all of my chaos and messiness, um, and see who it clicks with, like who feels me. Um, because what I also know intuitively is I have something to offer in just sharing my own narrative, my own experience, my own thoughts. Um, I know that I have a unique perspective on things because of all these intersections that I hold. And so I know that there is someone out there for whom this will matter, for whom this will make a difference, for whom you will tune in and want to hear more about the chaos that I am. Um, there's also something very freeing, even in this moment, of like just naming how chaotic I am, uh, and not having to feel like the need to be so polished and perfectionistic. Um, yeah, I can be all over the place, and I can be a bit of a hot mess if I'm being completely transparent. Um, and I will say this: the ADHD is real. I am medicated. I am medicated. Um, and perimenopause is a bitch, okay? And it really has exacerbated my ADHD um, symptoms. And so um, we're gonna try to rock with it and see what happens because it is what it is. If I mean, it is what it is. Um, it's annoying as hell. Um, it forces me to deal with my own internalized ableism at times. Um, but it is my truth, okay? It is my truth. And so I'm gonna stop here because I feel like if I move beyond here, I will just be rambling. So this is Dr. Nikki Knows, the reboot, the messy version, the chaos version, the let's see what comes up for us and you'll get it too version. Um, as always, I'm totally open to building community and having this be a space that is of mutual benefit. So if there are things, if you heard me list perimenopause, perfectionism, ADHD, single parenthood, only childness, grieving, solo entrepreneurship, um, what else did I respectability politics, limited beliefs, mindset. If any of all of that stuff resonated with you, pleasure, sexuality. I didn't even get into the fact. Let me say this one last thing. So the other piece about the grief and the perimenopause is it has killed my sex drive. the disrespect that perimenopause has brought upon me, it is ineffable. Okay, let me tell you, perimenopause has taken my sex drive. Perimenopause and grief and stress took my hair out. Like my hair was thinning. All of this scalp, what is happening? I'm reclaiming some of it. It tried to take my knees for a minute. Luckily, I'm getting my joints back together. Acupuncture has helped significantly, but um, my access to pleasure, like erotic pleasure, sexual pleasure, um, desire, arousal has been significantly impacted by grief and perimenopause. And so I have felt very fraudulent about wanting to talk about sex and pleasure and Black women, and I'm not having any myself. I'm not feeling any myself. That has never been my experience before in life. I started experiencing horniness and libido when I was like 12. And it's been off to the races since. Like, there's a reason why I like to talk about sex. I enjoy it. I've always had a very, very thriving sex drive, libido, and sense of curiosity and adventure for sex. And these last couple years have been disorienting for me, like really upsetting and disorienting for me around that. And I've been trying to hide behind the sort of intellectualism and the idea of things rather than talking about that being my real experience. And so I'm pulling the curtain back on all of that. Because the only way that I'm going to do this is to get out of my own way. So, what are the ways that you get in your own way? And who's going to take this journey with me to stop that, to get out of our own way? Who's going to do that with me? Who's going to ride the ride and just watch me be a train wreck? I want to know that too. Thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far, you a real G. You really do love me. You like my content, or you're like just nosy as hell and want to see what happens next. Okay. I'm gonna be back tomorrow because that's the commitment that I've made to myself. I might be on here looking crazy. You might see dark circles under my eyes. It might be brief. It may be even more chaotic than that. But damn it, I'm about to do these 100 days. Let's go.